It is Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. I'm Yael Avi, and these are the Cryptosphere's top stories for today. Circle's Jeremey Allair brings the issues dominating the community to the world's biggest stage in Davos. Wright is almost certain he can obtain access to his supposed Bitcoin treasure. And finally, Venezuela's Maduro says he wants to help his battered people by opening a casino where they can bet with the PETRO cryptocurrency. World leaders, major business executives, and influencers of all sorts are convening in Davos today for the 50th annual World Economic Forum. Now, the blockchain and digital assets industry has a seat at the table and is being represented by the man who is shaping up to be the industry's de facto ambassador, Jeremey Allair. Allair, the CEO of Circle, who also represented the sphere last year at the Libra Congress hearings, highlighted the two main digital disruptors that have the biggest potential to impact the global financial market. Let's hear what he had to say a few hours ago.
Critically, the inflection point is also driven by two major facts. The first is an alliance of some of the very largest technology companies in the world announcing a stablecoin project that will reach billions of people, and a currency and a digital currency model that will allow people everywhere to transact with each other, people and firms everywhere to transact with each other with the same ease that we communicate and share data. And that's very deep at the core of the financial system. And we're also seeing stable value digital currencies being launched this year by massive national sovereigns such as China, who's introducing a stable value cryptocurrency built on the Chinese yuan and the RMB. And ultimately, that has tremendous implications where these digital currencies will be able to be projected out to any internet-connected device in the world with the same ease that we can share any piece of content to any internet-connected device in the world. And so we're getting to the core, and I think that's real disruption as opposed to at the periphery, the kind of let's make these access a little better, make the retail experience a little bit better, and that's very, very exciting.
New reports out of China reveal that despite a ringing endorsement by Beijing in October, blockchain investments in the technology are actually on a decline. BLOCKTV's senior correspondent Usher Westrup-Evans is with us here in studio with more details on the surprising reveal. Usher, how could this make sense?
All right, so we've had an interesting report come out from Xinhua and the financial data platform Rhino Data. These are two major media platform and a data platform based inside China who released this report. One of the key statistics to come out of, we can take a look at the statistics here and see that from 2018 to 2019, a total of 245 investment and financing events took place in 2019 within the crypto space, totaling 24.4 billion won, which is down a respective 60% in total number of projects and 40% in terms of the financing in a year-on-year basis. Now, Yael, that looks pretty dire. It looks pretty bad, but actually, we shouldn't be too worried. Why? Because of that famous, infamous, whatever you want to call it, speech from President Xi Jinping on October 25th of 2019, in which he came out and said, blockchain, 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 let's invest in blockchain. So now, obviously, those statistics, the sort of revamp, the uptake in blockchain-based projects only started to take place towards the end of the year, towards the end of 2019. And we see that in the statistics. Disproportionately, a lot of that financing took place in the last quarter of 2019. So going into 2020, whether we'll see those same highs of 2018 coming out of China, or whether we'll see an even greater increase as these projects continue to ramp up into the new year and into the new decade, China is set to really grow when it comes to the world of blockchain.
And I'm wondering also if the announcement about a Chinese central bank digital coin comes out in the next several months, that will most likely impact that graph.
Certainly, government-based projects as well. As with anything in China, the relationship between private interests and state, are very intertwined, and that's why this statistic is so interesting. Not because it's necessarily a decline in China going into the future, but it showed during that period after the 2017 hype when China really cracked down, they cut those projects massively, and that naturally growing industry had its legs taken out from it, but now hopefully it'll be able to rebuild.
Usher Westrup-Evans, thank you so much for this report. Moving on to the gift that keeps on giving. That's the man who would be Satoshi, Wright, with another twist in the tale of his alleged billion-dollar crypto trove. Now, earlier this week, his lawyers confirmed he does not have the coveted keys, but now he hints otherwise. Yona Hochhauser is here to make sense of Wright's latest claim. So, Yona, The statement by the good doctor states what?
Right, so the latest in the saga that is the Craig Wright Kleiman family case for that magical Tulip Trust of 1 million Bitcoin. Craig Wright, latest, he gave a quote saying that he is 99.9999% sure, and a few more, that he's certain that he will be able to take control of his Bitcoin. He says, my Bitcoin and whatever else. Now, where is that 0.00001? I'm not sure. What does it depend on? I don't know. But then he was asked, hey, this Tulip Trust, why did you not name yourself a trustee of this massive fortune? To which he responded saying that, obviously he's smart enough to not be a trustee, because then people could force him to actually move the coins. You can take things from trustees. If it was mine, people could have seized the assets from me. Once again, Craig Wright is asking us to believe a story of his to why he does not currently have access to this massive fortune.
And the answers are quite questionable, one would say. But hey, but all that said, Yona, that's not the only news on the right front. Reports of a book banning.
Correct. So there was a book that was written or about him by a firm publisher based out of Australia, and he was actually a part of that project. Craig Wright was for that book. He was a contributor, and that was meant to be published or set to release on January 28th. They have said, though, that they are delaying the launch indefinitely out of fear and the threat from Craig Wright that he will sue them for the contents of that book. But I am skeptical, just like with everything with Craig Wright, whether that is the actual story. Because when Craig Wright was asked about the supposed threat, he claims, I never made any threat. I even pre-ordered a copy for myself coming out January 28th. And what you see on screen is currently on Amazon, you can pre-order the book still for January 28th.
Very, very confusing. But that said, still, Yona, thank you so much for that report. Now, if you are planning on attending major crypto conferences in 2020, be on the lookout for suspicious-looking teenagers. Sami Ben Saki, an 18-year-old from Montreal, is accused of being part of a ring that stole $50 million worth of cryptocurrency from holders, many of whom attended the Consensus Conference in New York last year. And according to InfoSecurity magazine, among the alleged victims are renowned Toronto businessman, author, and head of the Blockchain Research Institute, Don Tapscott, and his son Alex. The two co-authored the book Blockchain Revolution: How the Technology Behind Bitcoin is Changing Money, Business, and the World. And maybe that title needed to include a disclaimer about security issues that still are unresolved on the road to that revolution. Next up, some surprising news from Tether. The company, better known for its mass printing of the stablecoin, has announced it will be burning $64 million worth of USDT. Here's BLOCKTV's technical analyst Joe Saz's take on that move.
Tether needs to be able, in order to maintain the stability of a price at $1, right, which is the goal of Tether, they need to be able to manipulate the circulating supply. And manipulate isn't necessarily a bad term. You need to be able to increase the circulating supply when demand increases, and you need to be able to decrease the circulating supply when demand decreases. We're now looking at a pretty big move to the downside. I don't really know if this is them burning for any altruistic purpose, considering we just had on January 5th a 500 million print. So burning 10% of that, or maybe just over, is not really a big deal to me.
And finally, it's time for Troll of the Day, and we look at Venezuela, where President Nicolas Maduro has found an interesting way to pump the state-backed PETRO cryptocurrency, as found brilliantly so by Yona Hochhauser, who's back with us with the details on this story.
Thanks, El. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has announced the opening of a new casino that will run on his PETRO digital currency. He claims the proceeds will be used to fund the country's public health and education sectors. Exactly, Maduro. The thing to do when your country is falling apart, the economy is shit, and people are starving in the streets is to open a casino. Thanks a lot, Maduro Antoinette. Let them eat Petros.
Yona Hochhauser, thank you for that take. Now, that was Around the Block for today. Thank you all for watching. For more blockchain, tech, and cryptocurrency news, visit us at blocktv.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter